days. I'm getting dizzy.
You'll be fine. So run fast.
I can do that.
Here.
Oops, sorry. Bigfoot. Smile. I'm at Hell's Gate State Park, Lewiston, Idaho. A little bit of a warm up there, just right behind our camper, hopscotch and all that. I mean, had a little wobble with the Wildhorse. Did a bit of a high stack underfoot here. A couple of those single leg hops maybe weren't the most stable, but got the warm up done. As you can see, pretty hot, pretty dry. Temperatures are ramping up over the next 2 to 3 days. Have a good day.
Thank you. How you doing today?
I'm all right. Out for a run. It's hot, huh?
Yeah.
First run of this trip, you looked at my last video, or depending on when I put this out, second to last video, t-shirt time from TrailCon. I had a little segment in there where I went through the shoes I'm bringing along with me on this 2-week trip, kind of camping out of the trailer. Got to get some final training or whatever running in. At the end of this trip, I'm heading over to Beaverhead 100K, so this is kind of a family fun trip. Not sure how tuned up I'll be able to be for that race, but doesn't really matter. I think fitness from River of No Return will carry over. Training before that race. Also, did some good running out at TrailCon at altitude. Some climbing up and down. Not as serious or focused by any means, but it'll be well enough for the race. So this Wildhorse 10 was one of the shoes I had in the bag. I thought I was gonna hug the river a little more. Maybe I should have took that little turn off in all this brush here, but it's kind of a network of trails behind the campground. You kind of zig around up and down. Okay, easy street. The rollers. Well, this looks okay. Anyway, so took out these Nikes. Thought it'd be a good pick for this kind of rolling. Thought it'd be mostly flat, but obviously not too big climbs around here. I did a first run video, so this is probably a third run video. Might be interesting to see how my thoughts evolve on the shoe as I'm testing. I mean, this is kind of a fun run today, so I thought just film a little as I more or less explore over here. So I'm running in Idaho right now, just on the other side of that river, Washington State. Not a bad day to be out on the water. They're blaring, "Don't worry, be happy." So it must be cool down there. Cooler than where I'm at right now. Head back down a little. I think I could run further along quite a bit along the river trail. Hey there. All right. So it looks like I may actually get a bit of a rocky track to run on. I was checking on Gaia before I came here, and I saw some markers on their standard map for some rock climbing sections. Ooh, I couldn't imagine being on one of these hot rock walls on a day like today though, but let's see. Maybe we'll run across someone, but yeah, a little bit rockier here than I thought. I thought I'd be on a sandy path this whole way. I have not re-watched my first video before going out on this run. maybe I'll watch it before I edit this, or maybe I'll just wait till I put it out, see what my impressions were then and now. I actually kind of surprised that I feel like the ReactX is pretty bouncy, pretty energetic here. I had the sense that it, at least before starting out on this run, that it was maybe a little bit more dull or kind of non-responsive, but it does feel pretty energetic underfoot. And by underfoot, I say mostly under the middle of the foot, mostly under the rear of the foot. I am pretty sure I talked about that in the first video because it's plainly obvious. Just to reiterate, that ReactX foam really centered under the middle of the foot and the heel. It feels surely thinner under the forefoot, although not super thin, but it does get into kind of an early rocker at really starting at the ball of the foot, not just ahead of the ball of the foot. It's pretty much really, at least it's hitting me right centered in the ball of my foot. I start feeling it kind of thin out and then roll up front. You can see in the midsole how the foam thins out really at the front of the shoe. Cushioning also thins out. I don't think you want to be like landing too much on your forefoot in the shoe. I mean, I think the overall shoe is generally, the groundhog or whatever that was. Shoe is kind of, I think, generally oriented for the general running population. I don't know if it's a super high performance shoe, so it makes sense that it would kind of have a more stable base towards the rear of the shoe as to a more kind of aggressively oriented up front and towards the forefoot. Whoa. Look at the patterns on those rocks. That is very interesting how it's kind of twisted like a wave like that. That is pretty cool. All right, this is definitely a bit more kind of rugged and bushwhacky than what I had expected based on our campground and actually, oh, look at this guy. Man, pretty cool. Based on our campground and, you know, the first half mile or so. What is that? That's a big old groundhog. He's trying to brace me. Look at him go. Let's see. What's this? Where'd he go? He's got a hut in there somewhere. Oh, maybe that's his little house. Interesting. Oh, this is the end of the trek, I guess. Yeah, I just talked to some boaters, and this is obviously a usable trail here. I think those are just warnings about people, I don't know, littering or carving on stuff or whatever. I also picked up a packet of Tailwind high carb mix, which I have mixed up in my Ultra Spire blottle. Of course, my lower back with the tube routed up front here. I mixed it a little thinner just because it's really hot. I wanted to carry more fluid, so I filled it up kind of maybe around more than 24 ounces in that blottle with the high carb mix, which is 90 grams. They told me that one of the things about that is that it mixes easier, and that was true. Some of these high carb mixes I would tend to pre-mix in a blender bottle and then transfer it over to my bottle when I run, but of course that's not going to work in a race. Certainly if you're running by yourself, if you have crew and all that, you know, swapping your bottles in and out, that's different, but I generally got to do everything myself, and it did mix very easily. So again, with a little bit more fluid, but it was definitely noticeably easier than some other ones. Less clumping, if any clumping at all. And that's a pretty nice taste. At the concentration I have here, not overly sugary. It's actually quite pleasant, a little citrusy. Kind of like it. I think I only got one pack, so that'll be it. Whoa, I'm off track here. That'll be it after this run. Have to get some more if I really like it. Oh, here we go. Ooh, really on the edge here. Oh, a little bit of wildlife intersection here. Oh, hello there. Oh. My wife went on a bike ride this morning and she said she saw tons of groundhogs. I just saw another kind of big one, but she wasn't biking on this trail. She was even on a bike path. I do kind of remember my first video. I just remember the general sense of being a bit down on this shoe, thinking that it wasn't really a performance shoe. It's more like something maybe you'd buy at Dick's or something, and you know, maybe you can, not that there's anything wrong with that. But actually on this run, I am really liking it. I mean, kind of flat here. You could see pretty, I don't know, like underfoot. Not super easy, bit rocky, but it's just like cruising along. I actually quite like the ride. The ReactX is just kind of soaking up any impact. I don't feel any harshness underfoot. Feels really good. The kind of thinness up front, it's really giving me kind of a nice roll in to the toe off. Really good turnover. I do feel very smooth on the run right now, actually. I'm actually very much liking the ride of this shoe today. Just for reference, in this terrain, at the moment I am at 7:05 pace. Talking, you know, feels this is somewhat easy. Maybe I'm kind of trying to turn over a little quicker than if I was just kind of on a slow, easy day, but it's kind of like a regular, easy pace, maybe touch higher, and 7-minute pace right now in the flats. Feels pretty good. This actually looked like, I know it had ended at a certain point, so I'll probably turn around at this one right here, head back, and there was definitely a network that zigzagged up there, so I'll check on my Garmin watch as I'm going. They were marked off on my map, so I don't know how far up, but definitely beyond that rocky section closer to the campground, there were some kind of ups and downs, so we'll see how they go over there. Slightly different environment than Palisades Tahoe, where I was just a few days ago. There's those guys heading for higher ground. I don't know if it's any cooler up there. Maybe they just came down for a drink. Got my Fractel t-shirt here that I picked up at TrailCon. I actually ran hour 20 in it yesterday with a waist belt. It was very comfortable. I wanted to feel how airy it was without a vest. Forgot to wash it. Wanted to bring it with me on this trip, so I threw it along in. I don't know if they have any type of odor control in this one, but it wasn't too bad. Not fresh, but it was okay. Second day in a row in this one here. Of course, Fractel bucket here, my favorite. Humble running special. shoe is handling some of these dips and kind of rocky parts, ups and downs, I would say pretty well. It's you know, there's a healthy stack underfoot. Again, wasn't planning a full review here, so I did not look up anything. I'm just running out here today. I'll put it up on the screen, but I will say, running through something like that, the foothold is very good. I think I might feel more comfortable, at least in terms of foothold, than the Terra Kiger, which doesn't actually make sense, being that one's lower to the ground. I just feel like, I don't know. I looked at my first video, it just seemed like there was a lot of extraneous elements as part of this upper here. Certainly could be lighter in terms of design and all that, but in terms of foothold, being this high, especially that high in the rear, when I'm running with a shoe that's high under the back of the shoe, I tend to feel more unstable in those types of setups, and it feels very good right now. I just know I feel a little uneasy in the Kiger 10. Upper just doesn't seem to, there's too much lateral movement. I don't know, I think being that I'm not doing a full review here today, maybe my next video in this shoe will be a Kiger 10 versus Wildhorse 10 comparison. By the way, as far as disclosures, I mentioned this earlier, I did pay for this shoe myself. Had some credits on Backcountry, and it was on sale at the time or something like that, and I really wanted to try it because I was fresh off testing the Terra Kiger and hadn't run in a Wildhorse in a long time. ReactX seemed very interesting to me. Some people had said that previous Wildhorses were improved, and I never tried them, so it was just kind of like the right moment to, you know, purchase my own shoe here for a change. And yeah, I'm glad I did. This one does feel solid. Those are some type of nests. Are those bees, wasps, bats? Help me out here down in the comments maybe. Reminds me of Iceland. Oh look, yeah, there's some climbing stuff on there. Yeah, so people climb up there. Not today, maybe on a cloudy day. Ooh. Wow, check that out. That is a sick wave type pattern up there. Oh my gosh, nice. Oh yeah, look at that. Woo. That's starting to barrel up there. Sweet. I did take a geology elective in my year of study in Australia. Had to get the kind of non-computer science ones out of the way while I was over there, but I have to say I was spending most of my time at the beach surfing and not in the classroom, but we were looking at rocks and stuff as far as I can recall. Should have probably stopped in the shade back there. I'll make it quick because I probably covered a lot of this in the first video. As I was talking, it's just very healthy from here to here, and then like right across the middle of the ball of the foot is where I start to notice like the inflection point right there where it starts to roll forward, and it also starts to feel thinner progressively right from here to here, and then especially at the front of the toes, it feels very thin. Like I feel like I'm almost pressing into the ground with my toes there, which is not unusual for a highly rockered shoe. I think it just kind of stands out more just because it feels so healthy under here. And if you look, it's a wide platform, not mega grip here, all-terrain compound here. Shoe did pretty well, not this one, but Nike did pretty well, winning Western States. Caleb Olson, presumably in the Ultrafly 2. Not that this is anywhere near that shoe, but Nike Trail is perhaps on the way up. Again, I feel, you know, that's a wide base. So as I was running through there, I actually felt probably more stability than the Terra Kiger. Terra Kiger, I just felt like I was moving kind of laterally too much in that shoe. Just quickly point out, it just feels like there's a lot of extraneous, like this feels like there's a lot of extra here. Don't think this does much. The tongue is kind of thick. Doesn't seem like they put too much effort into streamlining it, at least in terms of weight. So there's probably some ounces to be shaved here if they really wanted to in this shoe. I get the sense that they probably didn't in this particular model, but I kind of thought of it as maybe a workhorse trainer, and I think that opinion is being probably solidified, at least on this run right here. Paralleling that river trail now, just a touch higher up here and hotter, of course. Charlie's Peak or Devil's Slide. Huh. Guess we gotta try that one. I guess that means it goes up. Transition to hiking here. That thinness up front under that toe rocker, it's definitely nice climbing here. Could kind of get up on my toes, lean into the hill a bit. Devil's Slide, Jawbone. Sounds like mountain bikers name these trails. You could always tell, right? Nothing against mountain bikers. This is a nice set of trails right here. Oh, yeah. Whew. I guess I'm gonna traverse, I don't know if it's up there or in the middle, and then campground on the other side there, down by the river. I imagine this is the Devil's Slide section here. This climb is certainly longer than it looks down there. Guess I am going along that top ridge there. This is not the top though. So I'm gonna rip on down this trail here behind me, head on down. I think it's gonna be probably fast. I don't know what's on the other side of that mound. I know there's interconnecting segments. See how I feel about going up and down, but thank you for watching this one, second or third run in this shoe. Again, next time you see this shoe in a kind of review sense, I'm gonna compare it to the Terra Kiger 10. So look out for that full AB comp. I'm on the road for a couple weeks. You'll see that in a few weeks time, probably when I get around to it. Of course, I have Beaverhead 100K race coming up. That'll be the focus, trying to get my shoe selection correct for that one. Also have a lot of other cool shoes on the way, so stay tuned to the channel. Check out www.humblerunning.com. Check out my Ko-Fi page if some of these reviews, or when I just go running and talk about stuff, if something strikes you and says, ooh, that was very helpful, or you ask me a question and you think, oh, that was helpful. Yeah, just a way to support the channel. Again, I have affiliate links for some of these shoes. That's simple enough. Just click through and just shop as you normally would, and it does help me out a bit. Gives me impetus, motivation to get out here on these fun 95-degree days, fully exposed, bringing these reviews and fully independent unsponsored, unbiased reviews to you, the humble running community. So again, thank you for watching. I'll probably film some clips on the way back down and maybe have a nice little running outro if you care to stay tuned in. We're going 6 wide here. I don't know what this is, a racetrack or what? 7 actually. There's a guy over on Reddit that posts pictures of benches on trails. I wonder if he's been over here at all. Probably burned my butt on that one today. This kind of rockiness exactly right here. If you don't have the right cushion underfoot on this kind of stuff, it is not pleasant at all. I'll tell you that. But I don't feel anything underfoot with the Wildhorse here. If you're just cruising around on stuff that looks like this and you want to kind of protect your feet, this is a solid option for sure. You know, all these little gravel bits and embedded rocks, that'll add up over the course of a run or training week or training block. You know how it goes. This kind of downhill grade too. Not crazy steep, moderate, shallow even I'd say, but rocky. That cush centered under the middle of the foot and the heel, really an asset. And this particular terrain that I'm running right at this moment, you could just kind of sit back a touch, land squarely under the middle, maybe a touch towards the heel, and just let the shoe absorb a lot of that. Ooh, you can see that here. Look at this rockiness. Being a little careful, but still not getting thrown at all by the shoe. Stability is good. Just a quick comparison here. One shoe that I'll bring up, just because I have been running in that shoe, did 2 videos on it recently. The Hoka Mafate Speed 4 Light version. I talked about how the cushioning is oriented underfoot in this shoe, and that's a difference, striking difference between the Hoka there. That one really under the forefoot, there's really no difference between what's under the midfoot, the heel, and the forefoot of the shoe. It's very well balanced. The cushion just very high under the forefoot. This one, again, I feel I'm kind of on that tipping point under the ball of the foot where it starts to thin out into that rocker. You don't get that feeling with the Hoka. So if you're probably more heavy on the forefoot, or you just really want to have that heavy softness under your forefoot, the Hoka Mafate Speed 4 is going to be a better option than this one. But again, if you're kind of versatile with your foot strikes, this one's good. I could definitely run in both of these shoes. Have to kind of run them more closer together to get a feel for maybe which is a faster shoe or which I prefer. The Hoka's lighter for sure. I don't know. This one cruises nice. May come down to fit. This one has a more traditional heel padding and collar and all that. So if you have any issues with the light version of the Mafate Speed 4, this may be an option. By the way, quick note, I do have confirmation that I will be receiving a Hoka Mafate 5 for testing in the coming week. So look out for my testing reviews comparison on that one. Again, I'm still running here. Signing off again if you're still tuned in. I'm gonna have to check the electrolyte content on that Tailwind high carb mix there. Kind of sucked that down, and not an iota of stomach sloshing at all. So for me, that's generally a good sign that whatever level of electrolytes, at least for not a very long distance run here, whatever level they've got going on in there is agreeing with my stomach, gut, and being absorbed pretty well.